From being the biggest Demon Slayer game on Roblox to barely averaging 2,000 players, Project Slayers has had an up and down history. The game released on July 15, 2022. It garnered lots of hype as the grand piece online of Demon Slayer games, with really good graphics. And it didn't disappoint. The game was gaining lots of attention, and quickly formed a loyal community. But one major problem destined the game to fail, and eventually led to the fall and wasted potential of the biggest Demon Slayer game on Roblox. As of today, Project Slayers has only had a single major update, but it still managed to gain 500 million visits and was consistently averaging over 50,000 players at a time, showing just how much potential the game had. But unfortunately, as you could probably tell by now, the game only survived one major update, leaving players with the same dry content and causing the player count to deplete insanely fast. But how did this happen? Why did the developers decide to quit working on the game? This is what we'll be uncovering today. Leading up to the first update of the game, the developers would implement a few mini updates to keep the player base occupied while they worked on the first huge content update. These mini updates would usually consist of new accessories and balance changes, but sometimes they would include some bigger features like many game modes or weapons. Fast forward around 4 months later, and on November 15th of 2022, Project Slayer's first major content update would release. The update consisted of an entire new map, 2 new game modes, 3 new breathings, 3 new demon arts, 6 new bosses, over 50 accessories, and over 10 new weapons. An absolutely huge update with a bunch of content to play through. But that was it. The last major update of Project Slayers would be its first. But it wasn't the only update left. A whole 6 months later, on May 19th of 2023 would be the final update of Project Slayers. Update 1.5. This update, although not as big as Update 1, would revive the game to its former glory. Before the update, Project Slayers was in a consistent cycle of having tens of thousands of players when updates dropped. Then slowly, week by week, the player count would decrease, until it finally averaged all the way down to 2,000 players. Update 1.5 was probably the most important update for the game. It added trading, 4 new bosses, 2 new breathings, 1 demon art, a ton of new weapons and accessories, new game passes, a bunch of balance changes, and improved the existing game modes. It basically enhanced Update 1's content, with the addition of more tier 5 bosses, and upgraded versions of Awagata dungeons and Mugen trains. Grinding was much better and easier, especially with Ice Demon Art, which had an easy to use moveset that was good in PvP and PvE. And with all this new content, the game had a resurgence and was quickly gaining popularity again. Summer was beginning and players had all the time in the world to grind the game. And they did. The game was back averaging well over 50,000 players, and at its peak, was getting around 100,000 players. The game was thriving and doing amazing. But all that quickly came to an end. After a few weeks the game was losing players, even with consistent mini updates with balance changes and small content updates that added new titles and accessories, until eventually even the mini updates stopped, and players were left with no new content, and causing the game to go in a downward spiral fast. But it wasn't always like this. In September, there was real hope of an update happening. The developers released a showcase for a demon art coming in the next update, and things were trending up. We even got some more little sneak peeks, like a housing system, where you could showcase your items and customize your own house. And in the same month, we got another showcase, this time for stone breathing, one of the most requested breathings to be added to the game. And to be honest, I wouldn't be lying if I said I was genuinely hyped and thought an update would be coming soon. Until more silence. We got no leaks after that, and that was the end of it. November 24th, 2023. We get this announcement on the Project Slayers Discord server, basically saying Project Slayers is indefinitely going on hiatus. The head developer, who said that Project Slayers updates take months to create, and with the game's code being poorly made, it makes it even harder to add more content. And to top it all off, Uwop also is currently still in school, so it's understandable that he wants to step away from the game and focus on his career. But there is still some good news to the announcement. Uwop did say that if he found someone, he would allow them to update the game in his place, meaning there is still hope of an update happening in the future if Uwop decides to take this route. But it's still unlikely that an update will happen anytime soon, and definitely not this year. So here we are now. The game is getting only around 1,000 to 2,000 players, with the likeliness of an update coming out anytime soon being next to none. And all we can really do is hope.